Let's go. Hello, everybody. My name is Kyle, and I'm going to be your safari guide for today's safari into the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Look above your heads and you'll see an animal spotting guide helping you identify some of the animals out on the reserve. Probably not going to see all of those animals, but we usually get some pretty good luck. And most important of all is safety. So make sure everyone of all ages remains fully seated at all times and don't reach out of the truck. We'll be driving through really rough brush, and some of those bushes have large thorns as well. It does get really bumpy, so stay seated, especially little ones on laps. I do recommend children on laps so they can see out both sides of the truck. The animals are free to roam, and you never know where we're going to spot them. They are wild animals, they do whatever they want, and since we're entering their home, we're going to respect them by not calling or whistling, making noises to try to get their attention by earring meetings. Now we're here in the Little Ituri Forest to start our safari. The forest is home to some of the more shy and reclusive animals. You do see coming up out to the right, off in the distance up the hill, there's a large brown animal that's hiding in some of the bushes called an okapi. So shy and reclusive, okapi weren't discovered by the Western world until 1901, demonstrating that shyness for us right now. They're known for having black and white stripes on their legs that kind of make it look like zebra stripes. Not related to zebras, though. Okapi are the only known living relative of the giraffe. Heading down towards the watering hole now. Great places to find animals that are coming to cool off and to get a drink. Look just on the other side of that fallen tree at the edge of the watering hole. There's a black rhino there. Black rhinos have a pointed and prehensile upper lip, which is perfect for pulling leaves off of trees and bushes here in the forest. I'm not going to get a great view of some of the trees kind of blocking it, but we are lucky to see one since they're so commonly poached for their horn. Even though the horn on a rhino is just made out of keratin. That's the same material in the human fingernail. Completely worthless, really. But sadly, that poaching has reduced the numbers of black rhinos to less than 4,000 left in the entire world. On the right side of the truck, I see two different types of antelope. The copper-colored ones are bongos. Bongos get the nickname goose to the forest as they blend in well with their surroundings. Both male and female bongos have large horns that spiral backwards, allowing them to cut through the thick brush here in the forest with ease. The gray antelope are greater kudu, the second tallest antelope in Africa, about 5 feet at the shoulders. The 3 kudu I see up there are all females as they don't have any horns. Only male kudu have horns with large spirals in them. Now since they are both types of antelope, those bongos and kudu are relatives of each other. But greater kudu are considered crepuscular, which means they're mostly active only in the mornings and evening times. I'll point out any other crepuscular animals if we see them along our safari. Now we're getting close to the Safi River. The Safi runs along the edge of the forest, and it's usually a great place to find Nile hippopotamus. Hippos spend the majority of their day in the river to stay cool, and they can hold their breath underwater up to 8 minutes. So look under the surface. Hippos may be completely submerged. I do see 2 hippos coming up on the right-hand side, both in the river, just past where these large logs stick out of the water. They are nocturnal, so they won't be too active now during the day, but coming out onto the riverbanks at night, a hippo will graze in about 80 to 90 pounds of vegetation nightly, and walk up to 6 miles just to do so. A couple more upstream on the left-hand side next to the island, actually quite a few of them there. They can swim, but most of the time hippos just walk along the bottom of the riverbed. A little easier and helps them conserve their energy, since they do not float. Mostly on this island here, these large gray birds are pink-backed pelicans. Get their name after the light pink that their backs turn during mating season. Their lower bills are expandable and can be used as a net to catch fish in the water. Not for storing anything though, they'll swallow their prey immediately. Pelicans nest in pods, ranging between 50 and 500 pairs. A lot of pelicans on the island and a whole bloat in the river there. Groups of hippos called a bloat. Also down the river, some Nile crocodiles. Crocodiles bite strong enough to crush the bones of their prey with about 2,000 pounds per square inch of force. Now if you find any holding their mouths open, no, they're not waiting for food. That's how they cool themselves off by releasing body heat through their open mouths. On land, a crop can run at 10 miles an hour. Top speed on my truck's only 8, so let's not stick around here for too long. When I mentioned how hippos are nocturnal, active at nighttime, well, crocodiles, they're the opposite. Diurnal, active during the daytime, like we as humans are. Diurnal. Coming up on the right side here in the clearing, this is a baobab tree. Gets the nickname upside down tree since it looks like their roots point towards the sky. But baobabs just go leafless about 9 months out of the year. They can do so by storing water inside their massive trunks, some reserved for periods of drought. But now we're coming up to one of my favorite views on the entire reserve, looking out over the Serengeti grasslands. The grasslands, they do stretch for thousands of miles across Africa, home to some of the most famous animals, like lions, elephants, zebra, and giraffe we can already see in the distance. This is the wild Africa we're all working so hard to protect. As we come to the bottom of the hill on the right-hand side are some Ankole cattle, also called Watusi, after the tribe in Africa that first domesticated them. They are the only domesticated animals found on this reserve. Each one of those horns can max out at 6 feet long and 8 inches in diameter. Not that heavy though, as there's a honeycomb structure inside. Allows them to circulate blood through those horns. It cools them off, like the radiator on a car. Elephants use a similar method to cool off by circulating blood through their ears. Just by flapping their ears, elephants reduce their internal body temperature by 7 degrees Fahrenheit. On the left side of the truck, a whole pack of African wild dogs, also called painted or spotted dogs after their really splotchy coloration. They do look similar to your domesticated dog back home, but they're a different offshoot of the canine family. These dogs only have 4 toes, and you wouldn't want to cuddle up with these guys, since they are the most successful hunters on the savannah. These African wild dogs catch their prey more often than any other species out here, including the lions, hyenas, and cheetahs. And they do so by working together as a pack to run their prey to complete exhaustion. You do see a whole tower of Maasai giraffes out here as well. Groups of giraffe called a tower. And Maasais are identified by their really jagged edges around their spots, almost a lace-like kind of pattern. Tallest land animals on Earth, a giraffe stands 18 to 20 feet high. Even at birth, a baby giraffe stands 6 feet tall, as they need to be able to nurse from their mothers at that age.
They'll just lick you.
Giraffes do mostly everything standing up, from eating, drinking, sleeping, even giving birth. A baby giraffe's introduction into the world is a 6-foot fall from its mother. And they do sleep standing up, but they only sleep for 30 minutes out of the day. Not even all at once. It's a few minutes here and there, adding up to 30. And although giraffes do have the really long necks, they actually have the same number of vertebrae bones in their neck the human does, and that's 7. Their bones are just a lot larger than ours. They also have a lot larger tongues than ours, up to 18 inches long, and their prehensile allows them to wrap their tongue around the branch of a tree to pull all the leaves off of that single branch. Straight ahead of the truck right now, along the hillside, there's some sable antelope, the emblem of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. These 4 sables here are females, as they have a lighter brown color to them. Males are much darker brown, almost a jet black. Only one male in a herd, though, with about 10 to 20 females. Each giving birth to one newborn sable every single year.
Whoa. This guy's just chilling though.
He's like, you see coming up ahead on the right-hand side, a whole tower of we have the tower of Maasai giraffe here. We also see a whole herd of white-bearded wildebeest, the large gray animals with a curve in their horn. White-bearded wildebeest are also called gnu, spelled G-N-U, after the low grunting sound that they make. Part of one of the largest migrations in Africa. Up to 1.5 million wildebeest will migrate together.
They're guiding us.
That was cool.
You see the sable antelope again on the right, those wildebeest, as well as a herd of springbok out on top of the hill, the small tan antelope with white underbellies. Springbok translates literally to jumping antelope, and they can leap across the savanna, reaching heights of 6 feet off the ground. The lengths, they'll cover over 11 feet in one bound. Extremely impressive for how small they are. Those springbok, they are all fully grown at 100 pounds and 3 feet tall. When those wildebeest migrations don't stop for anything, even the birth of their young. Baby wildebeest need to learn to walk within 15 minutes, or run within 30, or risk getting left behind completely. Those two horn-like structures on top of the giraffe's heads are not horns. They're called ossicones, so they're a continuation of their skull. Horns would be attached to the skull. Only other animal with ossicones is their only known living relative, the okapi, that we saw back in the forest. The only male okapi have ossicones. Giraffes do such a great job of removing the vegetation off the undersides of trees, they don't leave much left for any other animals. So elephants will just bulldoze down trees to get to the vegetation that remains at the top of the tree. There's a lot of trees knocked down in this area, though. Could be a good sign that we're getting close to elephant country. Do you see an African elephant out to the right-hand side across the watering hole here? Largest land animal on Earth, an African elephant weighs between 11 and 13,000 pounds. Can run up to 25 miles an hour. Also on the left side of the truck are some mandrills, the largest monkey in the world. Mandrills have that bright red and blue coloration on their faces and backsides. A troop of mandrills is dominated by one male. He'll be the largest in the troop and have the brightest colors. Males live to 100 pounds, females only about 30 pounds each. I think we're going to be able to get closer to this elephant over this way. Now this elephant here doesn't look quite fully grown yet, but since it is all by itself, it does make this a male or a bull elephant. As males leave the herd when they reach adulthood, usually around 13 or 14 years old. He goes off and lives the rest of his life in solitude, meeting only out for mating purposes once a year. The females stay in the herd their entire lifespan, 65 years, simply raising the young. I do know of a watering hole not too far away, sometimes a good place to find a herd. Looks like we got to cross this whole bridge to get there. Does look pretty badly damaged. Hold on, it doesn't sound any better. Oh no. Lean to the right, lean. Oh, looks like we made it. Let's go find some more elephants.
I thought they got rid of them. When you were a kid.
We did find some red clay pits. Elephants occasionally eat red clay if they're not receiving minerals that they need in their everyday diets. But there are some tusk marks there in the red clay and some elephant footprints. Oh, it does look like we found some of the herd ahead to the left-hand side. Again, herds are just comprised of adult females and their young. Their childhood at 14 years, and the male leaves the herd is the second longest childhood in the animal kingdom, second only to humans at 18 years. Elephants do have the longest gestation period of any mammal, though, with a 22-month pregnancy, giving birth to a 300-pound baby. We do see that baby elephant in the herd walking up ahead. Hopefully we'll get a better view over this way.
Oh, the baby.
Sadly, though, numbers of elephants are rapidly decreasing due to humans poaching for their ivory tusks, as well as habitat destruction. On any given day, we lose an average 96 elephants in the wild. That's one every 15 minutes due to human causes alone. It's not too much you can do to prevent poaching, but you can help protect some of their environment. Much of their habitat is being destroyed due to the mining of a mineral in Africa called coltan. Coltan is a metallic ore. It's used in rechargeable batteries. It goes inside cell phones and laptops. So if you would recycle those batteries when you're done with them, you can help save some of the elephants and other animals' habitats from your own hometown. On the island to the left are greater flamingos. Greater flamingos are the largest and lightest pink of all flamingo species. They're hatched gray, but after they eat lots and lots of shrimp containing beta-carotene, that's what gives them their light pink color after about a year of eating that shrimp. A group of flamingos called a flamboyance. So on the island, that's a flamboyance of flamingos. Now on the left, a pair of white rhinos. Now white rhinos are not actually white, they are gray. We get the name from a mispronunciation of the term wight, meaning wide in Dutch, referring to their wide jaw structure. You can see how wide the lips are there and how many blades of grass they're able to pull at one time. I mentioned how these white rhinos are actually gray. Well, they do look brown a little bit because they've been one of those mud wallows that we also see out to the left. Coating their skin with the mud helps protect them from the sun, like a natural sunscreen for them. The rhino's skin is thick and is sensitive. Also helps keep bugs off of them. A couple more white rhinos on the right-hand side, laying down on top of the hill here. Put them all together, you got a cold crash of groups of rhinos called a crash. When fully gone, a white rhino does weigh 5,000 pounds. Can still charge up to 35 miles an hour. Even reaching a gallop with all four legs off the ground at one time. On to the left-hand side, straight out the side of the truck, way in the very back of the woods, there's two cheetahs that are laid down in a steeper part of the hill out there. Fastest land animal on Earth, a cheetah can run in excess of 60 miles an hour. Using their strong tails to help them balance at those high speeds, helps them turn like the rudder on a boat. Cheetahs rely on their keen sense of eyesight to do their hunting, as they have poor night vision, so they are the only big cats that hunt during the daytime. Speaking of big cats, there's a large rock formation coming up ahead called a kopje. Kopje rocks like these are a great place to find a pride of lions. If you look up at the second tallest rock on the kopje, there's a female lioness laying down up there. Of course, females don't have a mane that males have, which protects his neck during battle. The female lionesses, though, do all the hunting for their pride. Like to use the height of the kopje as a vantage point to watch out for their prey. While the females are hunting, the male lion stays back watching the cubs and protecting the territory. There's a male lion laying down up here at the end of the kopje. Now, lions are inactive for 16 to 20 hours out of the day, and do all their activity during the evening and nighttime, making them nocturnal. But this is about what you see from lions during the daytime.
Sleeping.
Playing.
We don't want to wake him up. We know.
Lions are nocturnal not only because it is cooler at night, but also because they do have great night vision, about 6 times better than we as humans have. Even though during the daytime, lions' eyesight's very similar, if not the same, to ours. Do you see another female lioness that's up even higher on the tallest rock up there?
Whoa. It'd be concerning when we come in the night one. They're just roaming around. Oh, zebras.
Right up on the right are some Grant's zebra. Grant's is the only species of zebra where their stripes go completely underneath their belly in a continuous line. The hind legs on a zebra are so strong that they can break the jaw of an attacking lion with just one kick. They are black with white stripes. You can tell that the base color on a zebra is black from the color of their snout. Although I think it's questionable. If you did shave all the hair off of a zebra, their skin is still striped with that black and white. Also on the right there is a nest of ostrich eggs, as well as my favorite animal on this reserve, waterbuck, the brown antelope with white rings around their backsides. Waterbuck have a smelly, greasy secretion coming out of their skin. It gets trapped in that shaggy brown fur coat of theirs. Keeps them waterproof. Tend to be found near water and they'll head into the water to escape their predators when attacked. Now on the right are some ostrich, largest birds in the world. They do have really large wings, can't fly though. But just because they can't fly doesn't mean they can't escape their predators well. An ostrich can run up to 40 miles an hour with their long, powerful legs. Now 40 is a magic number though, because they also live to be 40 years old, and each one of those eggs back there takes about 40 days to hatch. And since they are the largest birds in the world, they do have the largest eggs in the world. 3 pounds each egg. Strong enough a human can stand on top of one without it breaking. There's a scimitar horned oryx on top of the hill that's coming up on the left side. Gets its name after the shape of those horns resembles that of the shape of the scimitar sword from the Middle East, about 4 feet long, each horn. Going up on the right side, some yellow-billed storks, about 3.5 feet tall. They're carnivorous. The yellow-billed stork will eat anything from snakes to fish to frogs to even other small birds, commonly swallowing their prey while it's still alive. But back to the scimitar horned oryx again on the left. They're very well acclimated to desert climates. They can go 9 months without drinking any water during times of drought. They conserve water by not starting to sweat until they raise their internal body temperature above 115 degrees Fahrenheit. Unfortunately, passing through these gates means we're coming to the end of our safari. But I hope that seeing the animals and learning about their stories inspires you to take conservation efforts home. It can be as simple as recycling and reducing the amount of water and electricity your household uses. To directly support animals that are living in the wild, you can donate to the Disney Conservation Fund and send any merchandise or food and beverage location here at Animal Kingdom. When you do so, you'll receive a button with some baby tigers on it that you can wear around the park and take home as a souvenir. For those wilderness explorers, you're traveling aboard Simba 1. S-I-M-B-A and the number 1. Simba 1 for those wilderness explorers. That's on page 15 in your Explorer Guide. But here at Kilimanjaro Safaris, we do not like to say goodbye, as that is much too final and too sad.